And we welcome you to Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizers. Still going. As we have reached the divisional round, I have been told no more the old Zeuser designations. We got to get all serious because we are down to but 8 teams left in a quest to raise and hoist that Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 56. And as you know, we got our own bracket with our own rankings, courtesy of Dan Zeus. Yes.
It's a bit esoteric, but stick with us. It's going to pay off.
Number 8 versus number 4. Is it a 2 versus 4? Yeah, but that's not as fun because this is Power Rankings, and it's our playoff. Right? Look at that right there. The 49ers, the 7 seed. He had the Cowboys that Dan Zeus did as the number 9 seed, and the favorite advanced.
And these are my divisional round picks.
That's right.
There.
There they are.
Grab it.
We're looking right at it. So let's get into it. Dan, when you looked at this slate and you see how it lays out of all the matchups, so I guess we're kind of power ranking the matchups. Which of the divisional round games gives you the most juice?
Oh, Bills Chiefs.
Yeah.
And
pretty easy, right?
There are pretty easy, yeah. There are games in this round of the playoffs. It is the leanest pound for pound best weekend of football all season, and this is the crown jewel because we are about to watch a game, Money, in which a team that went 7 for 7 on touchdown drives against the Patriots is going against Patrick Mahomes. The other team is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, who, by the way, had 6 straight touchdown drives against the Steelers. So it's one of those things like, man, we are going to see something potentially really special. And anybody who has a strong, unless you're a Bills fan or a Chiefs fan, anybody else that has a strong feeling how this game's going to play out, you're lying.
Yeah. It's, look, quarterbacks. It's quarterback league. It's passing league. You mentioned it. The Bills never punted. The only 4th down they ever faced in that game against the Patriots, a team that we thought maybe possessed the best unit. At least I said it more than once. In all of the NFL, their defense shredded them, cut them to ribbons like Chick Webb. But
they never got to 4th down.
Never got to it. Just the kneel down.
3rd down.
That was, oh, that's right.
But
it was
they never even faced 4th down.
So I'm going to go back to week 5. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go back to this matchup between the Bills.
Buddy.
Why not? Because Josh Allen carved them up, man. 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. The Bills' defense got after Patrick Mahomes. He threw 2 picks. He lost a fumble. And here's why I'm going to go back to it. Because I see it. I see it twice a year. When the Chargers play the Chiefs, you have to alter what you do. The Chiefs get in your head. It's like, we can't kick field goals. We got to score touchdowns. We can't punt. We've got to go for it on 4th down. So to me, the fact that the Bills already did this, didn't just win a game, but absolutely thrashed them in week 5, 38-20. I think that helps keep Sean McDermott and Josh Allen on schedule. Like, we're fine. We can do what we do because we know it works because we saw it work in week 5.
That all makes sense, and yet I think they already feel like they're fine after what just happened on Saturday. And we know, yes, they put up 38 against the Chiefs, but we already know they can do that this weekend anyway. So then it's like, oh, so do you take something out of Kansas City's offense struggling back in October compared to now? And that's where I disagree. I think the Chiefs finally figured it out. And sometimes this season it felt like they weren't going to figure it out, but they did. And that's why it's like, don't expect the offense to go into one of those tailspins because they're back now. And that's what makes this such a fascinating matchup. 2 offenses, when they're at their height, are as good as any offenses in the past 20 years.
Look, these are 2 teams with really good defenses. You know, I mean, like elite defensive players and defenses that absolutely shut down their opponents in the wild card round. Now, did we have a lot of faith in the Patriots offense or the Steelers offense? No, we didn't. But at the same time, the defense shut it down. And yet, neither of us are talking about Chris Jones or that defensive front of the Bills and what the secondary's been able to do to stay connected because we just feel like this is going to be offensive fireworks and these 2 quarterbacks are going to be trading haymakers for 60 minutes and it's going to be awesome.
Right, and it's not necessarily even disrespecting the defense. That's just like the reality of the NFL right now. There's not really any truly dominant defenses. There are good defenses that can throttle certain teams, but great offense beats great defense right now.
I don't know if there's not a dominant defense out there because we certainly saw a dominant defensive performance from our next matchup.
Segue.
Dan, how about that?
Nailed
49ers versus Packers. Packers consistently a dominant defense all year long, and we just saw what the 49ers did to the Cowboys defensively.
Yes, and I mean the Cowboys laid down and died. We'll get to that later.
One way to put it.
So that's a tough game to somewhat discern the defense. But yes, even with Nick Bosa missing most of that game, they were great. But the Packers are different. The Packers are a team that we know they had a bye to rest up. Aaron Rodgers says his toe now is not a non-issue. They have all their offensive line intact. And then there's this. You know Davante Adams is a stud, obviously. And Allen Lazard is another guy now. They now have a number 2. He had 5 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. The only wide receiver in the league that had more over that span was, wait for it, Davante Adams. And then you look at Aaron Rodgers' last 7 weeks. Money. The man threw for nearly 2,000 yards with 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I know you like when I say 0.
I do. I appreciate that.
No. And I just think as good as San Francisco's defense is, Green Bay is just at that next level where it don't matter.
So we're just going to have to see the 49ers defense do what they did to the Cowboys. Now, you mentioned it. The Cowboys leave a lot to be desired, specifically offensively, and considering how much talent they have on the offensive side of the ball. Their offensive line let them down. You're talking about 5 sacks. 4 of them, as you're watching here, came with the 49ers just using 4 guys. There's Jones from the interior. They were running a ton of stunts. Even when Nick Bosa went out, you had Armstead get in here and get one. So that's what they're going to have to do. And I believe they can do it, you know. And again, there is a formula for the 49ers to beat the Packers. It's to out-physical them on both lines. Offensive line, and we know how good that offensive line is. Trent Williams is one of the best players left in the playoffs. So if you can lock down that left side of the line, don't get Jimmy Garoppolo thinking about his blind side so he can just kind of accurately distribute the ball and not get into too much trouble like he did in the second half. And, of course, we know the Swiss Army knife and the queen on the chessboard that is Deebo Samuel and how special he is and how hard it is for him to not have an impact because you can't put yourself in this situation. Garoppolo did everything he could to give this game away, and the defense had to pick him up and carry them, drag Jimmy Garoppolo on that offense over the finish line.
There's a good chance, I see Packers moving on here, that this is Jimmy Garoppolo's final Niners game, and it would feel fitting if it ended with some type of killer mistake that you know is always in him. Deebo is a guy, and we're going to talk about him a little bit later, because it's amazing watching these games and watching the last 3 or 4 months. He's entered that conversation of top 10 players.
Yeah. He Jimmy Chitwooded it. He went to Kyle Shanahan after the turnover and said, just give me the ball. I'll score. What do you mean? Just don't worry about it. Give me the ball. I'm going to score. And he did.
But what about, hey, Kyle, 4th and 1 at midfield, a chance to ice that game. Give it to Deebo Samuel. He will get a yard.
Or, again, Garoppolo's been great sneaking the ball. Just take a breath, man. Right. Let Trent Williams get set, and you're fine. Game would have been over. But, oh, how much more entertaining it was the way it ended instead. So thank you, Jimmy Garoppolo, for blowing it there. All right, let's get to one more. And this would be the Bengals versus the Titans. I don't know if enough people are putting the sizzle on this that I feel like this game's going to have. I think there's some juice in this one.
I think it goes back to the Titans again. I think that there's a struggle to kind of identify the Titans, despite their seeding, as a team that is must-see TV when you look at the rest of the landscape this weekend, which is not to disrespect Tennessee. I think they are obviously in a really good place, and they're getting healthier, and Derrick Henry's back, and that's where things get interesting. I'm just curious where Derrick Henry actually fits in here, Money, because the general idea here is that Derrick Henry returns to the lineup, and he's going to have 35 touches, and he's going to run for 140 yards and break a long one. But it's like, wait a second. That man fractured his foot, an injury that required surgery. That man has not played in 10 weeks. Isn't it more likely that he's in a timeshare with some running backs behind him that have been good in his absence? I think there could be a committee here that you're not really hearing people talk about right now.
You know what? If there's a committee, that's fine, because as long as you have Derrick Henry in the 4th quarter in a close game and a defense that you've beat up on for the majority of the game, that's your trump card, is having that physical presence when another defense is worn down. No Ogunjobi in here. He's been put on IR. That's a huge loss for them to have him opposite Hendrickson when it comes to pressure. To me, it's the front. Right? It's the front on both sides of the ball for the Bengals. They were not able to slow down Josh Jacobs. We knew what the Raiders wanted to do. It was very San Francisco Garoppolo-esque. Let's not put the ball in peril. Let's run it with Josh Jacobs. Let's milk clock. Let's make sure we have long, time-consuming drives. And the guy rushed for over 6 yards per carry. Well, that's Josh Jacobs and a good offensive line of the Raiders. What about Derrick Henry and really whomever they put behind the line of scrimmage going for 100, 120 every single game? So that's a major issue for the Bengals. The other side of the line of scrimmage is a major issue as well because Isaiah Prince got absolutely torched. Now, look, Max Crosby's one of the best pass rushers in the game, but the Titans found a pass rush this year. We've been asking them to do it for like 5 years, it seems like, ever since Mike Vrabel got hired, but Landry got after it. Simmons gets after it in the middle of the line. To me, this is not a great matchup for the Bengals. They are going to have to play mistake-free football to get out of Tennessee with a win. The funny thing about saying that is Joe Burrow has played mistake-free football for the last 3 games he started. And it's unreal to watch it get put together.
That's the sizzle of this matchup. It's how high can the Bengals go here, because there is a vibe here that perhaps we're about to see one of those memorable special seasons where a team goes from worst to first and rides through the conference playoffs. And all of a sudden, we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl week. I think it's in play because Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, this is a special offense that if the Tennessee Titans do not control the ball, do not win the ball control battle, don't win on the ground, Burrow's going to dice up and slice his team up. And if the Bengals win this game, it's going to be the biggest story in the league.
Sure. It comes down to the secondary. And look, I get it. Kevin Byard's one of the best safeties in the league. Hooker's been playing well. Jack Rabbit on one side, Fulton on the other, and now I'm doing the name soup of the secondary. But look, those guys are going to have to outplay, probably the toughest receiving core in the league. If you don't pay attention to Jamar Chase, or if you're going to bracket Jamar Chase, well, now you've got 6'2" T. Higgins. And then if you ignore the slot, you've got 6'3" Tyler Boyd on the inside. Oh, by the way, if you want to commit to the backside and run nickel or dime, you've got a 230-pound back in Joe Mixon, who just so happens to be athletic and elusive and runs a 4.4. So good luck with that.
It's a very good, dangerous offense. They're going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it is why we believe this game's got sizzled and other people aren't paying enough attention.
Another coin flip.
100% that it is 50%.
Nailed it.
When we return, we're going to use math. They did it already once this year. Can the Rams pull off the upset again and end the defense of the Super Bowl title in Tampa?
Everything we work for is right here. We either win or we go home. What do you want to do? Every man in the circle built for this moment. You know why? Because we put the work in all season. Go run! Hell yeah! Go run! Hell yeah! Let's go! Stay back! Stay back! Stay back! Great job, boy! Great job, baby! You don't feel it? Stay in there. I'm back. They might not like it. I'm back, though.
Hey, we about that life. We already know what the deal is.
Trayvon did. Let's eat.
Straight. We got a whole nother half to dominate.
We got to end it. All that work won't come into fruition.
It don't matter who we playing with. We got you.
Ah, yeah!
Let's go!
Ah, the sweet embrace to end it as we get you to Power Moves presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer. Her eminence of expected value, the bard of Bayesian probability, the premier predictive analyst in all the land. It is Cynthia Freeland along to help make sense of the nonsensical. With what, Cynthia? Math. Advanced math. There is one showdown we have yet to attack, and we want you to help us attack it. Rams knock off the Cardinals last night. They will take on the Bucs. What do you see happening?
Well, the Rams have a 44.4% probability of knocking off the Bucs. This is a closely fought contest. I don't think Cam Akers will have that ability to surprise like he did against the Cardinals. But when I look at this one, it comes down to Tom Brady and his ability. He didn't even need to use deep passes in the beginning of that game. He didn't even attempt a deep pass until the second half. So that's just not even, they didn't even need it first half. So the Brady situation, staying away from pressure, that O-line will be a key factor in this game. But I think just by 55.6 is what the Bucs have. So 44.4 for the Rams.
Yeah, it sounds about right, Cynthia. Yeah. I like that, and you wonder, will that Bucs offensive line hold up with Aaron Donald coming to town? But I wonder, does like the machine, and I've had conversations with like Patrick Claybon on our network many times about the idea of momentum, and Rams will be feeling pretty good after Monday night, but that doesn't, the momentum
Emotion.
and
What are you
juice
talking
doesn't
about?
go in the machine, does it?
Talking to a math person. Jeez.
Momentum and juice.
Look, momentum is really just recent play, right? So I do think there is a factor for momentum, but recent play meaning who are being the impactful players and how impactful are they being? It's not necessarily well, we won last game, so we're going to win this game. It's what are we doing to get those wins, not.
Gotcha. And that was a question to you, Cynthia. Money, just stay out of it.
Yeah, but just stay out of it. How about this? You stay out of this. This is the way you ask the question. Cynthia, how do you tweak health? Like Tristan Wirfs is in a boot right now as we're speaking. Let's say he returns to the practice field limited. Can you tweak your formula where, hey, I'm going to plug in 80% of Tristan Wirfs? You're shaking your head. Yes, see? That's what you ask it. That's how you ask it.
C+.
C+.
Yeah.
Cynthia, was that C+ or was that an A question?
That was an A question,
yeah, exactly.
for sure. But both of you are A's on this one. You know?
I got the A too.
Still going.
Because, look, that's what you're talking about. That defensive front versus the offensive line. They rode that offensive line to a Super Bowl title. It's banged up. Jensen's banged up. Wirfs is banged up. All right, let's move past this one and get to your projection that you are the most confident in.
The one that I'm the most confident is the Green Bay Packers. 57.9% of simulations, they top San Francisco. Now, part of that is because of exactly what you just mentioned, injuries. Is Nick Bosa okay? Not sure. What's going on with Warner? Like, we've got a lot of questions here in terms of injuries. So when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, who gets David Bakhtiari back at left tackle, his ability to complete passes, especially to a guy as special as Devontae Adams, that really makes the difference in this one with all those question marks along San Francisco's defense.
I would even have maybe the Packers a little bit higher in my mind. Let's say 62.4% because I just can't get past, Cynthia, that one side has Aaron Rodgers, the other side is Jimmy G, and you just get the feeling that a big mistake by Garoppolo could doom San Francisco here.
Or will doom.
Well, Jair Alexander's back, so with Jair Alexander potentially back, that is very likely.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, of course, and I like the idea of, like, Cynthia has dials. Like, there's, like, these individual pots. It's almost like a mixing board in a recording studio, and it's like Tristan Wirfs. Oh, I'm going to push the pot up to 11 here. No, I'm going to bring it back down to number 8. Cynthia, when it comes to the Packers, by the way, you don't really have any recent play. So that would take Dan Hansus's C- question about momentum.
She gave it an A.
Completely off the board, right? Completely off the board.
All right, just
what?
again.
We're hearing what?
No. Let me ask you this, Cynthia. So you're the most confident about the Packers. Tell me where the machine, the robot, smells an upset.
Ooh, the most consternation. Who will win this one? The biggest potential for it, most coin flip game is between the Bills and the Chiefs. This one just comes out in favor of the Chiefs. 52.5% of the simulations. Obviously, we have some play there from, their first contest, but both of their defenses have really been stepping up. Without Tre'Davious Wright, that's going to be a lot harder for the Bills, but both quarterbacks have just been absolutely taking what defenses give them and then making some magic happen as well. So, but this is the one where the machine's like, hey, coin flip, probably about the same as who will win this game.
Yeah.
Let me take this one, Dan.
Yeah, what's up?
Is there a power rankings kind of variable that you can put in? Like, can you put in that Dan had the Bills at number 2 and the Chiefs at number 3, and then the machine weighs that, just the opinion of one man?
Hold on, let me consult the machine. Beep, boop, bop, beep, 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 beep. Oh, yeah. You know what? Now it's definitely the Bills. You got it. You switched it.
How about this, Cindy? When we get to the season finale of Power Rankings and you make your last appearance before we hit the spring and summer, how about we go to the boudoir, we see the machine once and for all? Yes or no?
You know what? I think we could probably. I'll ask if the machine's ready for that. I don't know if the machine's ready for its TV debut. But
I value my privacy. Now it's just the full-on.
Now it's the robot from the Jetsons. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, it turns out I've seen the machine. It's when she pulls it out of her backpack and puts it on the desk where she works. I've seen it. It's not in a boudoir.
La. I like the image. 1958 in Moscow.
It's got a sticker that says the UP is for me.
Breaking.
Right. Check it all out at NFL.com/Freeland, all of her other findings. Thank you, Cynthia. Just ahead, a stack segment. We got the pushback of a player, a coach commentary, and we fire up a quarterback quality hierarchy index. Next.
Fun.
Back here on Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer. Here we go. The divisional round begins this weekend. Oftentimes, the most compelling games of the entire postseason.
Oh, yeah. Pound for pound, baby.
In the NFL. You got 8 left, and the numbers you see next to them, of course, this is Power Rankings. Those are not their seeds. Those are the Dan Zeus Power Rankings, which is why the Bills are number 2 and the Chiefs are number 3. Some people that may take issue with that. Player, coach, card. Mooch,
the game.
Pushback.
Thanks, Money. So, Mooch, you and I have looked at this list, and we have some thoughts.
I have some funny thoughts. You know what's funny?
Oh, yeah, what's that?
So I'm looking at the #1 seed in the AFC,
Yeah.
right? Tennessee. They're number one. They should be the highest
great
ranked,
team.
right?
Yeah, number one.
Well, it's not, because the Chiefs, right, and the Bills are higher ranked. What did you call those quarterbacks?
Space aliens.
Space aliens, yeah. And they're up higher because they played, right?
Yep.
And they both showed that I can throw 5 touchdown
That's what
passes
it is.
real fast. But Tennessee, to me, look out, because you know what? They got fresh legs, and they got some legs from King Henry legs. This guy's coming back, people. Whether you like it or not, he's coming back. And they run the ball. Even when they didn't have, they had Foreman and Hilliard, they still ran the ball because it's in their DNA. They want to be physical on both sides of the ball. But Derrick Henry should be back healthy, and look out, because nobody's going to want to tackle this guy. They just had a little snow in Nashville. It's going to be chilly, and this guy's coming at you with his big stiff arm. This is a very dangerous football team.
I agree with you, and just because we haven't seen him in a while. We haven't seen Derrick Henry. I think that's why they're doing that. But then I look at the top of the list, the very top of the list, the Green Bay Packers. I like the Packers. I think the Packers are a good football team, but I think that maybe #1 might be a little bit of a stretch. I mean, just think about it. So they've had 3 points, 2 points, and 2 points against some playoff teams, right? That's what their win margin has been. But I still think that there's some teams that have done a little bit more, okay? Like, they just barely beat the 49ers, right? The 49ers are like down at the bottom middle of this list. They barely hung on and beat the Cardinals, right? They're just barely squeaking by. So I don't know if they're necessarily just a clear-cut #1 team. Now, maybe just because, we haven't seen them yet. Same thing with the Titans, but we're going to see them soon. We'll see what happens. The other team, right, that I look at, and we've been talking about these guys for a while. Another one of your former teams, the 49ers.
Oh, boy.
The 49ers they're just like kind of way down here. What are we doing, guys? Like, these guys play physical. Get them up top. They play physical. They go after you. They just beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. That's pretty hard to do.
Beat the Rams over here.
Beat the Rams over here. I mean, this team, right? I feel like they're not getting the respect that they deserve. So let's give them a little bit of respect, especially since they'll just come right into your house and just punch you. Like, they don't care.
Debo.
This team does not care. They play physical, and I love it. And when you play physical, much like your Titans, Mooch, right? Much like your Titans, that plays, especially when it starts to get a little bit colder outside. So, right now, that's where the list is. Okay, we'll see what happens next week. But don't forget to catch us weekdays on Total Access. Money in the Hand, Zeus. Back to you guys.
I love those guys, but it does sound to me like
It's a butt.
they want to put all 7 teams in the top 3.
Sure.
But you can't do that. That's not how power rankings work. See, it's tougher in this chair than that set.
When you're sporting a felt flower, everything's coming up roses. I will say, though, there is something to you putting teams that were on the bye atop, and to Mooch's point with the Titans, because you know what? They didn't sustain any injuries. And we're talking about the Bucs with Tristan Wirfs in a boot. And we're talking about the 49ers maybe not having Nick Bosa. It's a good thing to be the #1 seed because you don't have any of those issues going into the divisional round. So the Packers and the Titans very well could end up being more whole than any other team in the field.
And on the note of the Titans, listen, I have the Titans ahead of the Bengals, the Niners, teams I really like. So I'm actually trying to show the Titans some respect by keeping them in the top 5. It's time to see them play, though. And yes, we're all excited to see what Derrick Henry can do.
So now we shift.
Okay.
Right? We shift from the team in the ultimate team sport, right? 22 pieces moving, 11 on each side in concert. It's all got to be perfect for a play to be executed.
Sendo over here.
But now we go to the individual. Here it is. And by the way, they kept saying there. No, there is no there. It's one man's rankings. Carr and Mooch. I am not involved in this. I am simply a foil to push back. Like, I'm going to push back on this list. Here are your top 5 quarterbacks in order.
This.
Rodgers 1, Mahomes 2, Brady 3. Explain yourself. Why is Aaron Rodgers the likely MVP of the league number?
Aaron Rodgers, as I said earlier, is playing completely out of his mind right now. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks ever. He's at the peak of his powers, and I don't know what else I need. Look at that, look at those numbers. What else needs to be said? He's going to be the MVP. He just got named first team All-Pro. Patrick Mahomes, of course, is Patrick Mahomes, and the greatness that he has, it's very hard for anyone to get in his zone. Tom Brady, though, is Tom Brady at number 3. Now you're going to say Tom Brady's too low.
I put him at number 1.
You put him
I
at
would
number
put
1.
Tom Brady at number 1. And this is not, hey, I pay respect to the defending champ, to the man that's currently holding the Lombardi. He's had an incredible year. Look at those numbers. 5,300 passing
12
yards.
interceptions.
43 touchdowns. And here's my issue with Rodgers. Is it fair? No, but it's my list and why I put Brady atop. I can't get it out of my brain. I can't get that 3rd and 8 when he turned down the run at Lambeau against the Bucs in the NFC Championship game last year. I can't get San Francisco the year prior out of my brain. Why has this man not been to a Super Bowl in 10 years when he has all that talent? Tom Brady has. He's got more playoff wins than the Eagles franchise he just beat, for goodness sake.
Do we factor in with this list, do we factor in that Tom Brady's blocking is compromised right now? And the fact that he was pressured constantly by the Eagles.
How about that's fine, and he still gets rid of it. Snap to release, man. That's what drives defenses crazy. You know what Brady's snap to release was? 2.1 seconds. You can't get to him. And what does Aaron Rodgers like to do? Oh, I see it down there. I see it. I see it.
I like that. Oh, no. Also, snap to release. That's great. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger has great numbers in that category, too. That doesn't always mean
straw man, you know that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You said, what about his front?
I like a quarterback who can make plays downfield.
Okay. You want a quarterback that can make plays downfield? How about Josh Allen? Coming off one of the great playoff performances that we have seen in recent history.
Oh, Money, this is an impossible exercise, and you know it.
That's right. That's why I'm taking it apart. That's why I let you put the list together.
Where do you put Allen on your list? This is kind of a ridiculous exercise.
You know what?
These are all Hall of Famers,
you know what I like?
by the way.
Here's what I like. I like 6'6", 240 pounds in single digits. My daughter is currently camped out in Hanover, New Hampshire. You know what the temp is there? 8 with a wind chill of -27. That's what it's going to be like in Kansas City this week. I want that big horse. I want a man that knows what the whipping winds of Cheyenne, Wyoming feel like. And by Cheyenne, I mean Laramie. Because that's where the Cowboys play their football in those beautiful brown and yellow uniforms.
And I know it's early on Josh Allen. Obviously, he's in his 4th year. And obviously very early on Joe Burrow, my number 5 here. But these could be,
there's no wrong
likely
answers.
are, 5 Hall of Famers here. So
you can't go wrong.
NFL's in good shape.
Given my druthers, give me Allen and give me Brady. The old man and the
2.1 seconds.
Oh, I love it. 2.1 seconds, snap to release. That's what I want.
6-yard out to Gronk. Oh, look at this.
Up next, we bid farewell to a 4-pack of playoff participants. You know, they say memories may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. We won't let you forget. We won't. Next.
It's hurting.
Back here on Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer, we bid ye farewell. This 6-pack of participants that are no longer participating.
I will remember you.
Keep it going.
La, 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 la.
So we did this last week. We're going to do it again because, look, it's only fair. You completed a regular season by qualifying for the tournament, but unfortunately you were not able to advance. So we pay you respects, we tip our cap, and we remember you. Dan, you will get us started with the top team on your power rankings list, the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, we have our yearbook.
We do. We have our yearbook. So this is, imagine this is us penning a note to you as
Can I borrow your Sharpie?
Sure.
Because I want to use.
You're welcome.
Here it is, the 2021 yearbook. Remember when you used to put the...
Yeah, a little cover on the old book there.
Let's,
what do we got?
Let's write a
For the
note
Cowboys.
to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Keep in touch. Hey, Cowboys.
Huh?
Man, we'll never forget you blowing your season horrifically in your building.
Incredible fashion.
In incredible fashions, all your fans crying because you done did it again. You came up short when it was all on the line. And you know what? We'll always remember the Dak sneak there, the draw. And you know what I'll always remember, Money?
What's that?
Mike McCarthy after the press conference, putting blame anywhere but on the team. No accountability.
There it is.
Perfect.
My turn.
Keep in touch.
Let me see if I can get after this here. Yeah, it's right now. I already did that trick. Here we go to the Raiders, and here's what I will remember. Raiders, keep your chin up. Chin up. Toughest performance that I have seen in a long while. Congratulations on being the grittiest classmate we had. And I'm going to start with Rich Bisaccia because look, Bisaccia inherited a mess, a team that started 3-0, found themselves at 6-7. Everybody said, "Here we go again." I'll remember that prodigious goatee that is wildly out of place in 2022.
So meticulously groomed. You got to respect it.
I'll remember Max Crosby and one of the great pass rushing performances that we've seen in a single season in a long time. An absolute wrecking machine. I'll remember his emotional presser when he was named to the Pro Bowl and how excited he was about making the Pro Bowl, talking about his path to success and all the obstacles he overcame. And you know what? I know you're the man that pens the kicker index, but I'm going to steal your kicker index, and I'm going to put it in my yearbook here because I'll remember Daniel Carlson as the most
You're
nails.
taking too much of the page up.
The most hold on, I'm doing a doodle too. As the most nails kicker in 2021. He was the best kicker in football in 2021. That's what I'll remember.
All right, let me grab this yearbook. Hey, Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Never liked you.
You are
you
very upset right now. I understand because that was amongst the most humbling moments of your career. Too bad, Bill. But listen, here's the thing. And this is why this is weird. In most situations, an NFL team that starts a rookie quarterback coming off a year in which it finished sub 500 to win double-digit games and make the playoffs, it's a positive step. And yet, Bill, this still feels like failure for an organization that wants to always win the Super Bowl. So to lose like this, to lose in that level, they have a lot of work to do. You will be busy this offseason. Good luck.
I'll always remember that dummy beat writer that asked Sean McDermott how hard it is to coach against a genius like Bill Belichick. Where you at, pal?
You think the Bills remembered that?
Yeah. Where was your post-game press question for Sean McDermott after that? Bill, did you see what I said to Sean McDermott there? Did you see what I did to him? Huh? All right. I'm going to the Steelers. Steelers. Oh, what a roller coaster. We had our ups. We had our downs. We had our plateaus. I'll start with what I remember most. And that's a tie. We had a tie against a team that many thought was going to go 0-17.
Oh, that game was so bad.
It was incredibly bad.
Why are we remembering this game?
And then, because of that tie, we were granted one of the most emotional, ridiculous roller coasters of a Sunday night football game between the Chargers and Raiders, and somehow these Steelers snuck in because they tied and did not lose to these Lions. I'll remember that.
Right.
The Chase Claypool dance on first down, Trey Turner wanting to, and Chase Claypool being like, "Hey, why'd you do that to me, man? I just got this super cool first down dance. Check it out." And then, of course, I'll remember all the emotions, all the tears.
People kind of being happy for Ben, but kind of like not caring.
And I'll also remember that it all happened in one of the worst games I've ever watched, that Monday Night Football game between the Steelers and the Browns. It was absolutely horrible.
I'm so happy to see Ben Roethlisberger graduate out of the NFL.
Yes.
It's just time.
You know where he's going to? Tech.
High?
Nah, he's going to tech school. he's going to
school.
trade school. That's where he's going. So, yes, we remember you.
No shame in that.
You 4 teams. And the other 2, by the way, we'll get to you a little bit later. Ah, beautiful. Just ahead. We're doing another draft. That's right. We already did the quarterbacks. When we return,
wait, another one?
We'll start digging into the players that we believe will have the greatest impact in the divisional round, non-quarterback division. That's next. Back here on Power Rankings, presented by the long-lasting power of Energize. A little bit earlier, these were the Dan Zeus quarterback rankings. I disagreed. Rodgers at top, followed by Mahomes, Brady, Allen, and Burrow. I mean, really, any order of these 5 works. Yeah, you want to put Burrow on top, whatever. The guy's got 10 touchdowns and no picks his last 3 games. Just want to play. It doesn't matter. Ultimately. They're all great, and they're all going to the Hall of Fame, guaranteed first ballot. So let's get beyond the quarterbacks, because we know in a draft they're going to end up taking quarterbacks first, whatever, 5 10 picks. But let's go to players that we think will have the biggest impact in the divisional round that we can. And look,
did you trademark Voice of the Bolts?
Voice of the Bolts. Oh. You see the connection there, by the way? Dan Zeus. Zeus with Thunderbolt, with Master Bolt, right? The most powerful weapon in the heavens and on earth. And yet I am the voice of the Bolts.
What a connection.
So
I love it.
Trademark.
I got the first overall pick because this is the Power Ranking show. I write the Power Rankings, deal with it. And the number 1 overall pick, I was trying to say.
Visitors always call.
A tight end, a wide receiver, a running back. What if I take somebody who was all 3? Deebo Samuel. Come to my team.
First pick is Deebo.
The first overall pick right off the board, because this guy, what he's done this year, I don't think it's almost under the radar a little bit. You know how hard it is to score a touchdown literally every week in this league,
Very hard.
Our league, and the way he does it in so many ways, and the way you cannot bring him down. He's unique. He's one of one, and now he's mine.
Well, I appreciate that, because a lot of times the further away from the football you get, the less impactful you can be. Now, Deebo's a unicorn because he plays in the backfield as well, which is pretty close to the ball as opposed to a lot of wide receivers. But who's closer to the ball than Aaron Donald? He's right there where you snap it. And edge pressure is one thing. You can account for edge pressure, right? You can chip with a running back. You can throw a tight end over there. You can bring in a 6th offensive lineman. What Aaron Donald does, you cannot account for. You just have to hope your quarterback is mobile enough to get out of the way, that you can run right at him and you'll beat him off the snap, unlike the Ravens were able to do here. So for me, Give me Aaron Donald. Quarterbacks will take edge pressure over pressure up the gut any day of the week. I want the most dominant defensive force in the league on my team. That's why I take Donald number 1. Voice of the Bolts.
All right, so the voice of the ball. All right, now Dan Zeus is going to go and take another big-time player, Jamar Chase.
Whoa!
I want dudes who are hitting their stride and becoming game changers on a biblical level, and that's Jamar Chase. I think the guy just has it. I think there's a reason why everyone's so excited about this Burrow-Chase combination. I think the Wessling brothers in Cincinnati are talking Montana Rice with these guys, and I get it. So give me the ascendant young guy who is just starting to show us that he's ready to take over the league. Oh my gosh, I'm killing this draft. Oh, baby.
Were you not aware? Did you not know that Devontae Adams was available? Here's the thing. Jamar Chase is great, but Jamar Chase is a choice. Do we bracket Jamar Chase and watch Joe Mixon run on us? Or do we single cover Jamar Chase and take our chances? You know what teams do against Devontae Adams? They bracket him all the time. They know it's coming to him on 3rd down. They know it's coming to him in the red zone, and yet it doesn't matter. He still gets all the first downs. He still gets all the touchdowns because it doesn't matter what coverage you put on him. He will still make the play. He's the most elusive. He's plenty quick. Look at that. He's plenty quick. He's strong. He's a red zone threat. He's the best wide receiver in the league. And now I've got the best defensive player and the best wide receiver on my team, and I picked 2nd and 4th.
Well, you also have to realize with the earlier rankings with the quarterbacks, that's also who you get. So my team has Aaron Rodgers, and the reason Devontae Adams always
trying to
gets
talk
stats
himself out of this
because he has Aaron Rodgers. Here's another guy.
What?
All right, should I have a defensive guy so it's even?
Why are you asking me? I'm your opponent.
Oh.
I'm your opponent. Do it. It's going to be wrong. Every one of your picks has been wrong so
forget
far.
it. I don't want Jalen Ramsey on my team. Give me Tyreek Hill. We're going nuts here.
Convincing.
We are going nuts here.
All right, Matt Millen.
Look at this. Everybody go downfield. Everybody get crazy.
Wide receiver,
Aaron Donald's going to be just turning around and being like, I wish I could cover these guys, but I'm stuck here getting blocked and not even getting near the quarterback because Dan has also created an amazing offensive line that money doesn't even know about yet because that's a ranking,
that's another
a ranking
segment
in hour 2 of the program when we're not even on camera. But this team is unbelievable and money is dying because he realizes it. No one can cover my guys.
I'm looking at your team, and you've got 3 wide receivers right now. I've got the most dominant defensive player. I've got the best wide receiver in the league, and I'm going to crown it. Why would you not take Jalen Ramsey? It's a passing league.
Oh my God,
you
have the most boring team in an exercise of this.
In an exercise of this?
I've ever seen.
Jalen Ramsey, the most dominant defensive back in the league. He will wreck your pass attack. You don't see him.
I have like 400 wide receivers. He can't cover them all.
No, you're right. Because they're not going to be open by the time Aaron Donald gets to your quarterback and Jalen Ramsey's on the back end. Look, it's why we're so enamored with the Rams is you have this front-back combo of the best defensive lineman in the league and the best corner in the league. How balanced that is.
I kind of embarrassed you in this segment. And I don't feel good about it because I respect you, but in this case, I had to.
Do me a favor. Don't pull a magic and make sure your mentions are left on, okay? Because I got a feeling you're going to want to dip into them after 3 wide receivers.
Nailed it.
And again, he picked first. Don't forget, Dan Zeus picked first.
People will immediately forget.
Yes, they will, actually. This segment will be forgotten the second we go to break because guess what? When we return, just ahead, clear your calendar, ditch the honeydews. Our man Dan Zeus is going to share some secrets on how to ensure your complete concentration on this weekend's 4-pack of games will be part of your Saturday and Sunday. Next. All right, back here on Power Rankings presented by the long-lasting power of Energizer. Speed to power. There's a lot of power in this presentation because we're powerful individuals. Yeah. We did not acknowledge two teams that were booted from the postseason, the Eagles and the Cardinals. Let's go speed to power. 2 minutes on the clock. We'll give you a full minute for Philly.
All right, so the Eagles, let's face it, they were outclassed on Sunday. I think we kind of expected that, and that's how it turned out. And I just wonder, they fall behind an immediate hole there, 17-0. Jalen Hurts, I know that they scored some points, laid a little lipstick on the pig there, but I wonder if there's going to be some discussion behind the scenes with the Eagles about Hurts. I know Eagles fans don't want to hear that, but I still have this hunch they might be poking around and seeing what their other options are.
Yeah, there was a pass to Devontae when I think it was 17-0 that was just there for the taking. And 17-7 is a lot different, right? And it's in the first half, and you're feeling pretty good. Like, okay, we were able to weather the storm. Right. Now we can move on, and it just didn't happen. I mean, obviously the Jalen Hurts conversation is the biggest one. Do you build around him? You've got 3 first-round picks. Do you get a new player to play that position? That's the big one.
And even people like me that are doubting a little bit, you got to factor in the ankle, which was never healthy,
100%.
And it changes him totally.
I'd build around him. That's what I would do.
I think I would too. How about the Cardinals?
Well, look, this is tough. I'm a big believer in Kyler Murray. I still think he's a star. The offensive line has been terrible all year. And you know what? Kyler just wasn't the same after the injury. He did not look like the first 7 weeks Kyler Murray after he dealt with that. Did he acquit himself well? No, but you got Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, and Von Miller against a pretty bad offensive line. And by the way, yes, this play was a disaster. It should have never come to that. You're A.J. Green. Come on, dude. You've got to catch that pass before this play. That gets you out of purgatory inside the 2-yard line. And now you got some breathing room and you feel like maybe we can get a little something going. This is the big question, though. He has faded at the end of every season. I feel like it's gotten worse and not better for Cliff Kingsbury. I think that's the big discussion that the Cardinals have to have. Is he the right guy for another year of Kyler Murray on a rookie deal?
I think it's fair to ask questions about both of them. I think Kingsbury, obviously, there's some concerns there. I think Kyler, I'll never forget watching that interception at the stadium and thinking to myself, oh, that's the Carson Wentz thing. I've seen a lot of bad quarterbacks. That's a Mark Sanchez thing.
Challenge
I'm just
flag.
saying.
Get your challenge flag out. Let's go. I want to make sure I get to mine. I got a good one.
All right.
What do you got?
Challenge. I would like to challenge all of the people, I don't care who you are, to get your domestic duties on lockdown this week. If that means picking up the kids from school more than you usually do. Or, I'll take care of dinner a couple days this week. Or I'll do the laundry. I'll fold the laundry. Just act really good. Act really well. Get on your best behavior. That way when the weekend comes around and you say, oh, by the way, I'm out of the mix, she'll be like, ooh, well, or he, I can't say anything. You were great all week. Get right.
Here's what I want. My challenge flag. Ready? Poof. Give me those Cowboys stills. Hey, your team wasn't that good. I got news for you. The NFC East is not the playoffs. Stop crying. Stop freaking out. Stop yelling. Stop getting your potty mouth going on the social media because the Cowboys weren't good. You know what the Cowboys were? The Cowboys are the golfer that's not good, that hits a slice. Oh, I can't believe I sliced it. That flubs a chip. Oh, can you believe that this ground, it's soaking wet? You're a bad golfer. Stop complaining. Cowboys fans, your team's not good. They got beat by the better team, the 49ers. So stop complaining. Let's get ready for next year.
Poor man.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week as we get ready for championship week.